In Nigeria, the federal government has approved a pay increase of between 25% and 35% for civil servants on the remaining 6 consolidated salary structures. Statement signed by Head of Press, National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission, Emmanuel Njoku, said the increase took effect from January 1st, 2024. Affected salary structures include the Consolidated Public Service Salary Structure, Consolidated Research and Allied Institution Salary Structure, Consolidated Police Salary Structure, Consolidated Paramilitary Salary Structure, and of course, Consolidated Intelligence Community Structure as well, and of course, Consolidated Armed Forces Salary Structure as well. Head of Department of Information at Nigeria Labour Congress, Benson Upah, now joins us from a Workers' Day rally in Abuja to discuss the plight and welfare of workers under the Tinubu administration the last 1 year. Good to have you and welcome, Mr. Upah.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Speak louder.
All right. Happy Maize Day. So before looking at the past 1 year of workers' plight under this administration, how would you assess the plight of workers over time in Nigeria? Of course, why are there incessant strikes and how effective have they been in achieving their aims?
Well, I can hear the part of your question that deals with the plight of workers in the past 1 year. To this, I will say it has been a horrifying experience. In these very grounds, the Eagle Square, on the 29th of May, 2023, Mr. President took away from Nigerians their joy and laughter by announcing the end of fuel subsidy in quote without adequate preparation, without the how and when the subsidy removal will be implemented, the aftershocks and all of that. There was no preparation, there was nothing. It was just a casual announcement, and from then we have been on a roller skater of suffering. Mr. President followed that up quickly with the policy of flotation of the naira. Of course, they couched that beautifully. They said that we are collapsing the multiple exchange rates. But of course, before we knew it, the dollar started exchanging for 1,900 naira. Of course, after some interventions, it has stabilized somewhere around 1,000 something. I do not know which of the figures. One moment is 1.2, another moment is 1.3, another moment is 1.5. But which tells us that this thing is not steady yet. Then they also followed up with 250% energy tariffs. So, to cut this long story short, it's been a painful experience. The past 1 year, Nigerians have never witnessed anything like this. It's been a case of total displacement, total dislocation, disorientation. The average Nigerian can no longer plan, cannot hope to do anything reasonable. And you ask yourself, who are the beneficiaries of these policies? The manufacturers say they are not, that when they supported the policy of flotation and removal of fuel subsidy, the government did not consult them on how this were to be implemented. The government clearly acted in breach of their expectations. Workers, informal sector workers, ordinary people have been in pains. 40% of big business is down. 30% of small businesses down. The micro businesses are completely obliterated. As it is, we have a situation whereby the middle class ceases to exist. So who are the beneficiaries of these policies? Sometimes we are pained when we hear people say, give the government a chance. The government is not giving the people a chance. Okay? Some will say, oh, it's too early to criticize the government. I said, no. How could you say so? The same characters that say Mr. President hit the ground running. At that time, some of us say, running to where? So, this is where we are today. It's been a story of pains, of anguish.
Mr. Upah.
Yes.
Okay, now you say it's been a horrific experience and that it's been a story of pain and anguish. But I'm wondering why the NLC has been flip-flopping in protecting the interest of the Nigerian workers. None of your demands regarding the removal of fuel subsidy or even the minimum wage has been met. Yet it seems the NLC has been docile. Can you explain why that is so?
That NLC has what?
Has been docile. Can you explain why that is so?
Has sold out.
I know that I said the NLC has been docile in tackling, the current administration regarding the hardship that you say that they've inflicted upon Nigerians. You've called for strike action a number of times, but after a few days you call it off, you go back to the negotiation table, and we are not seeing anything from the negotiation table. So what exactly is the NLC also doing regarding these issues?
Well, for NLC, it is an ongoing struggle. But let me tell you this. But for NLC, it could have been worse. I bet you, but for NLC, let me give you one simple example. But for NLC, you probably would have been buying fuel at 2,000 naira per liter. We understand the feelings of Nigerians when we start a strike action and we trust government and we retreat, say, okay, we are returning to the negotiating table. We know the feelings of Nigerians, but Nigerians should also understand us, understand our situation. That first and foremost, we didn't set out to embark on an action that has no exit strategy. Let me tell you, for every action that we embark on, we have an exit strategy. If we say if we're going to embark on a strike action for 2 days, and by the first day we achieve that objective, naturally we'll call it off. If government invites us to the negotiating table and say, on our honor, we are going to do ABCD, we didn't have any reason to disbelieve the government. The first one was on the 5th of June, 2023. We signed an MOU, a 5-point MOU, which we noticed government observed in breach. That led to subsequent actions. And we signed another one on the 2nd of October 2023. Of course, government has not acted in good faith. But I want to assure you that it is an ongoing project, that this struggle takes many shapes and dimensions. If we do not win it at one level, win it at another level. But I want to let you know that we have not given up. So long as this government does not retreat from its extreme right-wing neoliberal policies, we too are not going to retreat.
All right, Mr. Upah, let's talk.
But then I want Nigerians to. Yes.
Yes, let's talk about some specifics now. There's also an approved pay rise for pensioners under the defined benefit scheme. That's the DBS. I'd like your thoughts for that. Doesn't that account for anything?
Pardon?
Let's talk about the approved pay rise for pensioners under the Defined Benefit Scheme, DBS. I'd like your thoughts on that. Doesn't that account for anything?
Yes. Well, first of all, let me say that pensioners have been on the receiving end for far too long. There are provisions in our statute books that say that pensions should be harmonized, that is one, and that pensions should be reviewed after every three years, and that alternatively, if there is a salary review, if there is a salary review, the pensioners should also benefit from this. All of these statutory provisions, government has been observing in breach, okay? And that left many of our pensioners destitute, broken. Some, not a few, died on pension queues, on frivolous pension queues. So, in light of this, the 20% increase the government has announced, well, I'll call it a case of a starving man who has been offered a tincture of water. The tincture of water will make the tongue to retract, and possibly it might prolong the life of this pensioner, but it will not give the pensioner life, because the figures do not add up. The 20% does not add up with 250% increase in electricity charges. It does not add up with transportation that has moved by 300%. It does not add up with rent charges that have gone up 400%. School fees. So all these figures do not add up. So in as much as we appreciate this increase, it is no more than a tokenistic gesture, and we would want the government to be more creatively courageous by adding more resources or increment to our pensioners. Elsewhere, pensioners are treated with dignity, respect. In fact, they have privileges that those who are not on pension do not have. There is no reason why our pensioners should be treated like vermins. And you know one thing? Their only crime is that they did not help themselves with the resources of the state when they had the opportunity to so do.
Well, Mr. Benson Upah, Head Department of Information at the Nigeria Labour Congress, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.